Okay. Okay. And is it public? Yes, it is public. It looks like it's going. Let's see what's going to happen.
Brandon, you're live.
Yeah, you're live. Okay. Whew. Woo, child.
After we did a whole show.
We did a whole show. And it did not work, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. I think we should just like talk to the people.
Baby, no. We cannot just talk to people. We have to follow the script. And we're going to talk to the people too.
Okay.
See? Where your energy? Come on. It's not fair. Can you bring the light up, babe? Oh, it made a difference already. A little bit more. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to start over. Welcome to Sippin' Tea with Sally K and my special co-host, Sir James Ivory Carter Jr. Thank you. Woo. Thank you. Now we see that people are here. Thank you. It's working now. Okay, awesome. So, let's do a temperature check for real, Chad. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I see we're gonna have to spend a little bit more time on the tech side to kind of learn. I guess I'm gonna have to figure out.
Thank you. Hey, Mom Anderson.
How to spend a little bit more time and figure this out so we can like do the show.
Yes. Thank you.
Those issues.
That would be okay. You know what? I just learned words of affirmation. Thank you, baby. That would be so helpful.
Oh, I feel so special.
Well, it would. You know, I'm doing a million things, and I know you are too. And I want this right? I care about how we present to our people, and I care about what we're doing. And because of that, I can't just hop on live and be like, hey, we're going to do this. You know, we just talking. No, It matters. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Straight up production.
That's right. Absolutely. And I think people care. See? You care. See, you two are so funny. So, finally, it's working. Let's get moving. What is in your cup? What are you sipping on?
I got just raspberry herbal tea.
You're actually sipping tea tonight?
Yeah, I decided to get away from the juice and the water and the Coca-Cola. So I actually do have tea.
I'm so honored, babe. Thank you.
In my mug with us.
Oh, that's right. That's the mug. Where were we at, babe?
Bam, Dubai.
We were in Dubai. Yes, the tallest building, or is the second tallest building in the world?
I think it is the tallest.
It is the tallest. What is it? The Burj Khalifa?
Burj Khalifa.
Yes, it was amazing. Well, I am sipping honey vanilla chamomile, thanks to my own honey who picked it out for me. So it was a surprise. I didn't know what I would be drinking. And it's yummy too. Babe, can you go on my live on your phone? That way we can read comments from there when it comes time. What's in you all's cup? Let me know. What are you sipping on, if any? If y'all know, y'all need to have y'all cup. That I'm not married, but I'm claiming another one. That I know that's right. Yes, sipping the tea. What's in your cups? What are you sipping on? What are you sipping on? Tonight is going to be really fun. We have been studying the 5 love languages. And this is not just for, thank you, baby. This is not just for married couples. This is simply about relationships and understanding people. We've studied this book several times throughout our 23-year relationship, marriage. And it's helpful to, lemon water. All right. It's helpful to have a refresher because you change. Your needs and your desires change with time. So we have taken the little quiz in the back, and hopefully you did too. If not, it's not too late to get the book. It's an easy read. It's really kind of fun to rediscover yourself if it's for the first time, or I'm sorry, if it's a refresher, or discover yourself if it's the first time. Babe, we talked a little bit about our top love languages before, and you guessed mine pretty much on the spot.
Guessed?
What do you mean? Yeah, you guessed it.
I didn't guess.
Okay, well, you knew mine. Okay.
I deduced.
Okay, well, that's fair. Well, and I didn't say anything before because I wasn't really sure about yours because it seems to change. And ironically, according to the scores, my top 2 is a tie of the 5 love languages. It said that my top 2 are quality time and physical touch. And I do think that's a tie, but I think I have a number 1 above that, which is interesting.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation, but it didn't used to be.
No.
That's all.
No. You know, and we talked about this before, but considering where you are right now,
yeah,
and some of the things that you have dealt with, and you know, still endure,
yeah,
like it makes sense why words of affirmation would be like your number 1 love language. Like now. Yeah,
it is interesting because I thought about that as I was reading this, and I thought, wow, this really does speak to me, but it never did before. But I just turned 45, and as you know, like I'm on fire. 45 is like, I don't know, y'all.
45.
I'm 45. I'm 45. However you want to say it. But what did our daughter say? 40 fly.
40 fly
and 40 fine. Ooh, I will take all of those. But I'm really feeling myself. But I needed, before I turned 45, though, I told you, I said, babe, I don't know why, but I really need to be celebrated. I really need to hear, you know, I need to be encouraged. And I usually am not like that. But I'm glad I was able to articulate it. And I did not know that at 45, I was just going to be like an explosion of me.
Boom.
You weren't ready, were you?
I had my riot gear in the closet already. So I know
you have to stay ready being married to me, don't you?
Man, you gotta keep a go bag.
Oh, that's funny.
Something gonna pop off. It's just a matter of time.
Best to be ready. So this week it was at Words of Affirmation, and I just feel like for me personally, it was just on point. What about you? What did you think about this week?
Yeah, I'm glad that this is one of the first, like the actual first chapter, because I think without this, I think this is the building block for everything that's going wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Why you say that?
Okay. Well, so the whole communication piece, right? And then you're trying to figure out like each other's love languages. What do you have to do to figure that out?
Spend time with each other, listen to each other, talk to each other.
Talk to each other. But there's, to me, only one thing opens the door up for all the other ones.
Communication?
Communication, but not just communication, like saying something encouraging, saying something kind. Right?
It opens the door. Okay. Because if I don't feel
saying something humble, like those things kind of like soften. So if you got an attitude and I say something sweet to you, doesn't it make you just a little less like?
Right. I'm not even trying to hear it.
Yeah, I know, but.
No, that's what I'm saying. If I have an attitude and you say something nice, I'm not trying to hear what you have to say because I have an attitude. But you're right. But if you're being kind, it'll break me down a bit.
Yeah. So simply saying something nice, compliment, just that little icebreaker, so that you can work on all the other stuff.
But you know what? Because I just said if I have an attitude, I'm not trying to hear it, but it'll eventually break me down. But I think that's the part that your spouse could be, trying to be kind, give words of affirmation, so on and so forth. But we have to be open to receive also. I think pride messes us up a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Big time.
You get into a sermon now.
Is that a bad thing?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Because you can't ignore it in relationships.
Right.
And he touched on it when he talked about, and it was something else I was going to talk about, but The truth is, um, he talked about, what love really is. On page 44, love doesn't keep a score of wrongs. Love doesn't bring up past failures. None of us is perfect. I might as well go ahead and read it.
Go ahead.
None of us is perfect. In marriage, we do not always do the best or right thing. We have sometimes done and said hurtful things to our spouses. We cannot erase the past. We can only confess it and agree that it was wrong. We can ask for forgiveness and try to act differently in the future. Having confessed my failure and asked forgiveness, I can do nothing more to mitigate the hurt it may have caused my spouse. When I have been wronged by my spouse and she has painfully confessed it and requested forgiveness, I have the option of justice or forgiveness. If I choose justice and seek to pay her back or make her pay for her wrongdoing, am I making myself the judge and she the felon? Oh, yeah, I'm loving this. Can I finish reading? Mm-hmm. Intimacy becomes impossible. See, that's when you said, if I'm giving kind words and I say, yeah, but if I have an attitude, I'm not trying to hear it. Intimacy becomes impossible if I want to hold up the wrong against you. He said, if, however, I choose to forgive, intimacy can be recognized. Intimacy can be restored. Mm-hmm. Forgiveness is the way of love. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a lot for me.
Yeah. And let me add something else to that,
please.
So before he got into that, he said, the manner in which we speak is exceedingly important.
I'm sorry, what page is that?
44. It was on the same page.
Oh, because I went, where?
At the top.
Got it, thank you.
The manner in which we speak is exceedingly important. An ancient sage once said, a soft answer turns away anger. When your spouse is angry and upset and lashing out words of heat, if you choose to be loving, you will not reciprocate with additional heat, but with a soft voice.
Ooh, talk about that one.
See?
Why did you want to bring that up? Talk about that.
Oh, it ain't personal.
I didn't take it that way.
Yeah, it just makes so much sense. So in the middle of conflict and differences of opinions or not seeing, eye to eye on certain issues, and there's some turmoil in terms of like the communication level, the level of intimacy you're having, and because we mad at each other. You feel this way, I feel this way. We can't really talk to each other. How do you get past? Like, what is like one of the first things one person in out of the couple is going to have to do in order to move past where you are? Right. Somebody has to say something nice.
Right.
Somebody has to break themselves down, humble themselves, and find a way to say something nice.
Or just say something in general.
Yeah, but you got to say something nice. You have to. You have to apologize. Start with an apology. Start with an acknowledgement that, hey, I've been a jerk the last couple of days. I'm sorry, but I love you, and I don't want us to keep walking around like this.
Or I love you. I'm going through something right now, but I love you. Can we address this another time or something? I don't like to leave stuff lingering. That was back in the day. Now I'm like, you got a couple, maybe an hour, but come on, we don't have time for the attitudes. Well, we're in a different phase in our lives, and so empty nesters, what time do we have to be mad at each other, and about what? But I know everybody isn't in that space.
Yeah.
But that's our story.
Yeah, our biggest decision we got to make every day is what we gonna eat. What we eat for dinner? I don't know.
I feel bad about that one. Can I see your phone? Let's see. At this point, we really do want.
Charlene on there now.
We want to engage. Hey, Charlene. At this point, we really want to engage you. So ask us any question. That's my number one. Words of affirmation. Really, Brandy? Okay, thanks for putting it up. 45. Yes. Bridget, words of affirmation. What's very true, Mama Anderson? I have been there after being married 2 times and no longer. I can confirm that pride is probably a huge issue. You know what? It is. And I'm thankful that, hey, Charlene, I'm thankful that the Lord started dealing with me last year. Remember this, babe? We lived on the farm. And I mean, of course, I got a long way to go. God is tearing me down. But do you remember when the Lord showed me that Jezebel spirit, which is pride? Mm-hmm. And I had to run to my husband. It was kind of funny now. And I was in prayer, and the Lord showed me the Jezebel spirit and how that's one of the biggest things that I had to deal with in order to be free within myself, but then for my marriage. And the Jezebel spirit, if you know anything about the Jezebel spirit, she's controlling, she's big, she's puff chest, she's prideful.
Puff chest.
She's prideful, that heifer. And so I went into the kitchen, remember, babe? Mm-hmm. And I said, babe, it was this huge revelation. The Lord was showing me. And I'm all.
Right, and I'm all, what is going on here?
The Lord is showing me. And I'm so prideful. I got a Jezebel spirit. And I'm kind of thinking he's going to be like, for real, babe? Oh, he was like, yeah. To make matters worse, I talked to one of my best friends about it, and I'm like, oh my God, same thing. I had this revelation. She was like, girl, you just figured this out. It just goes to show sometimes we don't know our own faults. We don't know our own sin. Mm-hmm. We don't know the thing that is destroying our marriage. So I'm grateful for that. And I told him, remember I said, we need a little sign. When that hussy started raising her head, you better give me a sign, because there's no room for pride in this relationship. There's no room for Jezebel. She has to go. And it's generational. Mm-hmm. You know, I saw women coming up in their marriages being strong. But when you come home, your man comes home, babe, do you want me strong? No. I had to realize, no, when I'm with my husband, he wants me soft and tender. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're married to Sally K. Carter. I'm just saying. And I'm married to Sir James Ivory Carter Jr. I'm just saying. But when we come home, we don't want that of each other. Like, I didn't want the cop. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want the superwoman. He wanted me to be soft and gentle and, you know, fix his plate and care for him and take care of him and speak kindly to him. But you can stop me at any time. Stop soaking it up. No, actually, was this one of these moments you're thinking?
No, actually, I was listening.
Okay.
But the fixing the plate thing, that wasn't a request.
No, that was never a request, but you enjoy it. Talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about the fixing the plate.
Yeah, so, and it's funny because it's one of those, like, it's a reverse, it's kind of hard to explain. It's not something that I originally, like, requested or something that, you know, if I get married, my wife is going to have to fix my plate. I'm not, like, a male chauvinist at all. But she said, I would like to serve you. I would like to fix your food for you. And I'm like, okay, you know, because I've been used to just, you know, getting up and, you know, fixing my own plate. Like, you know, no big deal. But then when she did that, I started to enjoy it. And then I noticed that she enjoyed doing it. So I felt like, oh, she's actually enjoying serving me. Wow. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was a win-win. Like, I didn't ask for it. I still get it. And she enjoys doing it. It was her idea. Okay.
And then I realized something. When I would get mad at you, I'm like, I ain't fixing nothing, you know. Or, you know, out of time. And that's so wrong. I realized, because love is about action, right? You don't say, okay, I'm ticked off at her, I'm not paying them bills, right? I still come home, turn the lights on, I still have a home, car, all the stuff to take care of. And so a part of my language of love to you is taking care of you. And so it became a thing the Lord checked me on, like, how dare you? So what, you got a little attitude? You don't not continue with your responsibility and with, yes, I say my duty, you know, and I do that with love. That's how I express love. So it's like, no, you don't take your love away, you know. Mm-hmm. And maybe, did you care? Did you care that I would, like, have an attitude and didn't want to, you know my younger days?
Yeah, I cared. I mean, I knew I knew it was a temporary thing. I didn't think it was like, a declaration of you removing your love, period. I know she's like, you mad at me? Okay, she gonna stomp on her for a little while.
She gonna throw a temper tantrum.
She gonna slam a couple doors, and roll her eyes at me. And, and then after a while, okay, we'll talk and get back to normal. But no, I didn't really like take it to heart like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, she took her love away. No, it was just one of those things. Like, okay, she's being a jerk.
Well, it's true. It's true. It's true. Well, I wanna read a little bit more in this, but do you mind if we go to the comments for a second?
Go right ahead.
All right, go ahead, babe. Hi, my cousin Henry. Hi, my happy wife, happy life. My cousin Momo is on here, and Momo's about to get married. Henry, how long have you been married? I wanted to go to your comment, Henry. You said a woman will become a woman in the presence of a man. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Babe, what do you think he means by that? A woman will become a woman in the presence of a man. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well,
it's up here too.
Oh, okay. Well, I was reading. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What does that mean, babe?
Well, I think what he's saying is that not just like the sexuality of a woman, but a woman will become a woman in the presence of a real man.
Talk to me about that. I need you to break that down.
And it's the same. It's the same for a man. Mm-hmm. Like a man will become a man in the presence of a real woman. Okay. Because a real man has a certain thing about him, a certain set of standards, a certain degree of excellence, that he lives by, and so does a woman. Mm-hmm. So like, we're gonna sharpen each other. Mm. So when a woman and a man get together, right? I have no choice but to be better because I'm with a real woman.
I agree with that. Okay.
You have no choice but to be the best woman you can be because you're with a real man.
I agree with that. Because you know what I say? I can tell what kind of woman a man has by the man. Mm-hmm. That I don't have to know who his wife is. I don't have to know anything about her. When I see that man, I'm gonna tell you this. Well, we have children, mm-hmm. right? All I'm gonna say is we know we will know when they're with that one by them, mm-hmm. and that's the bottom line.
Yep. Most definitely. And the funny part about that's even if all the kids was watching.
And look, then Jalise is watching.
She's trying to figure it out now.
He'll be he's been married a year. Oh, happy anniversary. I didn't know that. Did you do it? LOL. What did we do? Oh, replying to Jalise. Okay, so they having a whole different conversation. We are lost. So we're gonna keep on rolling with that one. I missed the question. I want to go back to something, babe. It's in line with what we were talking about, and it's out of the book. Mm-hmm. When we were talking about the action of love. I love this part on page 45. 45 is my number. Oof.
Excuse me.
But it said forgiveness is not a feeling. When I read that right there, I went, oh my goodness.
Where are you reading?
Right here in the middle. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It is a commitment. Ooh, what? That didn't hit you? That hit me. Forgiveness is not a feeling because especially women, and I think people in general, but I'm a woman, so I can speak to women. We go off of how we feel, our emotions. Well, at the end of the day, it is a sign of love. And if you love someone and you are committed to them, then you must be committed to forgiveness. And not forgiving small things or some things. Forgiving all things. Especially in a marriage. Mm-hmm. Right? Especially in a marriage. And then when it said, it is a choice to show mercy, not to hold the offense up against the offender. Forgiveness is an expression of love. Oh.
You need tissue?
No, I need you to come join me with this because, it was deep for me. It speaks to how personally I've been able to successfully, I'm going to say successfully, go through our marriage. And there are pivotal times in our marriage when forgiveness has to be about a decision and being committed to our commitment, not about how I felt in the moment. And so to see this in print, it just solidifies my thinking throughout the process of our marriage. It was like, oh, it was good to me.
Yeah, and you know, and I think it's important to highlight the fact that to categorize forgiveness as a commitment, because forgiveness doesn't mean like one day you decide to say, okay, I forgive you. You know, no. Whatever you are forgiving that person for, you're going to remember parts of it. You're going to move forward. So every day, every time you think about that, your commitment is supposed to kick in and say, that's why it's called forgiveness. It's a process. It's a process. It's not a one and done, okay, I forgive you, and you think you can just like move on.
Forgiveness. So it's the ness part that makes it continue.
Forgiveness. Goodness. Like everything with a ness on it is a process. And it's a state of being, not a decision. Which is not a feeling, because you know, like feelings come and go.
But decisions it's a stance. It's a commitment.
A commitment is a long-standing, you know, agreement.
Right.
To do certain things.
Right. I'm sorry, I'm having one of your moments where I'm thinking, I'm seeing.
We'll just say it. Well, just say, I'm thinking, give me a minute.
Cousin Bobby is watching. Hey there. Henry said, love is understanding willingly. Absolutely. And it takes two people. It really does take two people. In the story, in the chapter that we read, one of the examples was I'll give you an example. The wife wanted her room painted, and she had been wanting the room painted for a long time. And she kept nagging every week. This would be a good Saturday for you to paint my room. I sure wish you would paint my room. And I promise, as I was reading this, I was thinking about myself, because there have been times when I've been kind of naggy like that, and he won't do it. I'm like, he know good well this is what I want done. He bogus. Why won't he just do whatever it is that he knows I want done? And what Gary Chapman advised her to do was to not ask again about him painting the room, was to simply compliment, you know, recognize what he does for her on a regular. And he had her go through a list, like, you know, he makes sure the car is warmed up or snow is out. I think I'm making some of these examples up, but it was something like that. Like, there are things that he does do. Can you point those out and compliment those? And so she did it, you know, consistently without him reciprocating. And so sometimes you have to be committed to your decision to help move your relationship forward and continue to do the thing that you should do, even if he or she is not responding. After a certain amount of time, he begins to respond. And next thing you know, that room was painted. And so I totally could relate to that when I read it.
You know, it's not that we don't hear y'all.
Well, what is it then, baby?
It's kind of like it's almost petty to a point, like in a little boy kind of way. Like she ain't asked me nice enough. I ain't painting that room. I'm being honest. Like that's how we think. Like, man, she just gonna like paint the room. Like I can't just.
That's how y'all think.
Yes, I can't just paint it because she was like, this today would be a good day to paint the room. Like, okay, stop the press. You said paint the room. I'm supposed to do it right now. You know what I mean? Right. That's what you think. But if you had said like, you know, babe, I would really appreciate it if you would, you know, when you have time, you know, when you can, you know, put it whatever. Like, I would really appreciate it if you would paint the bedroom for me. Or paint the bedroom for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, just putting it in that, like, putting a little bit of love on it instead of making it like this, like, demand/ultimatum. It's a game changer.
Okay, well, you know, baby.
What you would ask for now?
You know, I bought some amazing paintings that I thought we would both enjoy to go on this wall. When you get a chance, do you think you could hang those pictures up for me?
Nope. Yes, I can definitely do that. What is that? Oh, right here.
There's one over there. Okay. So, I just thought it would be nice for us since we're doing this together. And I thought of you when I saw the painting.
So you want it like right here?
Yeah, that would be so nice.
All right. Y'all gonna see it up here for next week's show.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay. that was easy. That was easy. Sometimes I'll just kind of.
Now, I saw that picture sitting over there. Normally, you place them where you want them.
That's what I was just about to say.
And I know you don't want to hang it over there on that wall, so I'm like, okay, she got the paint here, but she don't know what she wanted yet.
I knew where I wanted, but it was the reason I had to move it. But thank you, babe. I really appreciate that. I do. This is real good. What about you all? What else? Words of affirmation. It really is a big deal for me right now. And I think, to be honest, who would not want to be affirmed? Maybe we don't want to say it, but I think you're right. This is like the best love language to start with. Mama Anderson has a question. Go ahead, baby.
I was wondering why they were all so bare looking forward to it.
What? I was really thinking you had a question on our relationships, Mama Anderson. Not about my bare wall, but I appreciate that. See, now you really, babe, you're really going to have to put something on the wall. Oh, yeah,
it's going to be up there.
Because Mama Anderson going to have a whole lot to say if we don't. She said, I was wondering why.
You don't want it too busy, but I think that picture.
No, nice I totally agree. I totally do agree. Babe, this is good. I love when he began to have them write. She's loving this. I love when he gave them the assignment in the book to really think about what they do for each other.
The list. Yeah.
Because, we take things for granted. I know I'm fortunate where my car isn't in a garage, but I can say, babe, can you start up the car? And, without hesitation, you do it. And you would do it if I didn't ask, if you knew exactly what time I wanted to leave out.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're thinking about something.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, I was.
Go, babe. Go ahead. I'm gonna start putting you on the spot. You can't just zoom off like that in your own world.
Well, it was about what you said.
Okay.
So I can remember it was we used to talk about this. Like, I could have a honey-do list, right? Go through the honey-do list, and the honey-do list is like tight. The one thing I missed, that would be the first thing that you brought up, like, look, and then you point out the one thing. I'm like, man, you don't see all this.
I'm still bad at that.
Nah,
I am. Even at work, I'm trying.
You've got a lot better here. I don't know how you treat them at work.
I do. Well, for you to say I've gotten a lot better, thank you. But that's something I'm mindful of. And I'm going to tell you why, even though it doesn't make it better, and which is why I've been working on it. I'm the kind of person where, I see the big picture. I don't see the little bitty details in between until the big picture is presented, right? So then when the big picture is presented, I immediately see what's out of place. And so it's like, in my mind, okay, the honey-do list, wait. So I bring it to you, you fix that one thing out of place, and then I can say, perfect. That's how I would think. But now I'm like, no, I need to appreciate everything in the big picture. Thank you for this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece. Oh, okay, that little piece is meant. I don't really kind of know how to say it really nicely without offending. You can teach me.
Okay.
How should I say it? If there were 20 items on the list and one was off, how should I present that?
You got to play it off at first, like, so make a big deal about everything that was done.
Tell me, give me an example.
And then walk away.
Okay.
And then come back and be like, oh, I just noticed this was like a little out of place. Babe, can you help me with this? Like just to bring a little bit of attention to it, but not make it like the central focus out of everything that was done. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
timing.
So when you go through your process and you look at the big picture and you see that one thing that's out of place, Stick it in your pocket.
Okay.
Just
Timing.
For a little bit. We'll talk about the other things in the big picture, and then find a way to circle back for that thing that you still need to be taken care of. You know what I mean?
I like that. Am I wrong to ask for you to bring up the one thing you didn't do?
No, you could definitely bring that up.
No, I'm saying it would be helpful if you said, "Hey, babe, everything got done, but the last thing, I'm gonna take care of that tomorrow, or I'm gonna take care of that in a week." Then I'd be like, "Oh, okay, no problem." Then I don't even have to think about it.
Well, your husband is ADD.
Your wife is too.
So I'll start on one project, work on it, get bored with it, and then I'll start on the other one, and I'll just kind of
forget. Okay.
And then I'll forget, like, oh man, I was supposed to go back and finish putting whatever the placeholders on the table. Like, oh man, I forgot that.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, Natasha said something. Let's see. What does that say, babe?
She said a real man has a standard, and a real woman will step up. When you have a real man wants to grow and wants to please her man, and vice versa. Yeah,
that is so true.
Mm-hmm.
Because, hey, Nikki is watching. Hey, Donald, your cousin. That's a good point, because it goes back to that pride thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, again, once the Lord showed me Jezebel, I'm like, oh no, there is no room for her. And so my goal, my desire is to please my husband. It's biblical. That's, I hate to say it's kind of part of the curse or the consequence of Eve, but it is biblical for the woman to desire her husband's eye. And I want that. I want you to look at me and desire me. I want to look at you and desire you. I want to take care of you. I want to please you. And that's my responsibility, I feel. I feel like no one else can take care of you the way I can. I'm your wife. Mm-hmm. And no one else can take care of me the way you do. You're my husband.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I think that you really don't actually become a man in the sense of being a man in a relationship until you learn how to take care of your woman.
Ooh.
And the same thing, for the woman taking care of her man. And we spend a lot of time in our relationships trying to figure out that formula of what does it mean to take care of my spouse.
Ooh, that's hot. Mm-hmm. That's hot, babe.
What does it mean? And then as you grow and change, right? So if I'm being attentive and if I'm paying attention, when you go through your changes and your needs change, I need to be able to make those adjustments along the way. Like, okay, this is what was working, but now she's going through some stuff at the job. The kids is going through some things, which is kind of weighing heavily on her. So now she's saying she needs something else in this department, right? So if I'm paying, so learning how to take care of your woman, like that's what makes you a man. It's kind of like being a male with a child. They don't make you a father, right?
You better preach.
Anybody can produce a baby, but you have to be a father.
Absolutely.
And you have to learn how to be a father. Like, go ahead.
Like Ness, like NES, like you said, goodness, forgiveness, fatherhood, fatherness. It's a process, and oftentimes, the place we're in and the role we're in, we didn't have an example. We didn't know how to do it. And even when we had an example, it's not our personal experience. So there are only so many tools that we can take from other people. We have to go along our own journey, in order to really learn what that means to be a woman, a man, a father, a husband, a wife. It is a process. And so platforms like this is really important. We've got 20 plus years in the game, so we've learned some things. And without pretending, we can truly say that we are happy and we enjoy each other. And we can be in a world with just the two of us in a room filled with people, and we just see the two of us. But we've experienced life in order to be able to do that. So Absolutely. Like I'm looking all at you. My cousin Henry said, bars, James. I know, right?
Bars.
Nikki said, come on, James. He's talking real talk, like for real. Nikki, we're glad to be back to join us every Sunday at 7 o'clock for Sippin' Tea with Sally K. For the next few weeks, we're doing this 5 Love Language series by Gary Chapman. It's not too late for you to get the book, and you can join us. This week we were on the first language, the first of the 5 love languages, which is affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. It's a really simple and easy read. You can catch up. Next week, we will continue, and next week it is quality time. Oh, I'm looking forward to reading this because that is definitely one of mine. I have just become so attached to you that I get on his nerve now. I'm like, where you at? Where you going, baby, baby? Because I want him all the way around me. And now he's been upgraded. So he's like, sir, I'm Sir James Carter. Where you at? Where you at? Sir. Yeah, so y'all gonna hear me calling my man sir because the kingdom is real. Hallelujah.
And just a disclaimer, I didn't ask for
you don't
any
have to.
of that.
That's all right. That's all right. Henry says, what, babe?
Henry says, a woman requires nothing more than attention. Everything else necessary is included in attention. You love what you give your attention to.
Okay, so Bishop Jakes told this story about how he and his wife, Sarita Jakes, were looking to buy a new house. Mm-hmm. And when they walked into the home, it looked kind of bare. There was no real love there. When they left, Bishop Jakes was like, I can tell that this relationship is, this marriage is really no good no more, and that the husband is, spending his time someplace else. And Sarita was like, how can you tell that? And he said, you invest in what you love. Mm-hmm. I'm like, whoa, so it's the same thing that you're saying. And come to find out that was a true story of why they were selling the house, because they were separating, getting divorced, whatever. But it's true. You invest in what you love. Mm-hmm. And that's just not materially. That's also, feelings, emotions, commitments in the relationship.
Spiritually, too.
Talk about that.
Well, I mean, depending on your spiritual growth and development, like, it's hard to stay in an elevated place with your spiritual relationship with God if you're not spending time with God. Mm-hmm. So the more time you spend in prayer, the more time you spend, in prayer, worshiping God, reading, you know what I'm saying? Like your relationship strengthens and your spiritual eye becomes a lot more keen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, and you're right. So that's with anything. So I mean, we're spiritual beings. Not everyone is, and we get that. But the reality is, what you love, you'll invest in. You'll spend time. You'll make time. So to hear, oh, I'm busy, no excuse. Mm-hmm. You have to make time for your spouse. I think as a woman, we underestimate the importance of being tender to our men. I think we see you all as so strong and so tough that we forget that just like grown women, the reality is grown women are little girls that needs to be forever tended to. Mm-hmm. Grown men are forever little boys. And I think that's part of the secret to a healthy marriage and relationship is if I can speak to little James and build little James up to know that he is Sir James, that's a part of the key to your heart. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with you. You have taught me how to love, by loving little Sally first, Mm-hmm. And that's why I can just ooze it all out to you now. And Charlene has a question.
She said, do you think you can have a successful marriage if you are unequally yoked? I would say yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
But that yoke can't stay unequal. And then if we're talking about being unequally yoked,
what does that mean?
What exactly does that entail? We don't have to get into all of the details,
right?
But on the spectrum, and this camera is reversed,
it won't be.
If you guys are here, you got to find a way to at least get here.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the imbalance, even if you're unequally yoked, you're still close enough, to meet somewhere. But if you're unequally yoked to the point where you're at opposite ends of the spectrum, you got to do some things to kind of cover some of that ground and that distance between where you are on opposite sides of the yoke.
Can I talk to this because she said, "Oh, read through." Okay, babe, you can read through your phone. It's slow on our camera, so we'll read now from the phone. Read from the phone. Unequally yoked how? Babe?
I don't see it.
It's right here, babe. All levels if one is in the church and the other isn't, or if y'all don't want the same things in life. Read the rest of the question. So okay, in full, here is the question. Do you think you can have a successful marriage if you are unequally yoked? If you are unequally yoked in all levels, if one is in the church and the other isn't, or if y'all don't want the same things in life? That's the question.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be a tight one. Is it possible? I still say yes, it's possible, but somebody has to close the gap.
Mm-hmm. I want. Can I take a stab?
Go ahead.
The whole unequally yoked, of course, is spiritually based, based on Christianity. I think the reality is in marriage, you have two separate individuals coming together with two separate mindsets and ideals, right? And if one is in, let's say, the church and another is not, then in my opinion, I think it's the responsibility of the one who feels that they know Christ and has a relationship with God to reflect that in their relationship with their spouse. And so, can you stay with me? If one is always kind of barking at the other, then it's what you said. It's the resentment. It's the little boy that's saying, "I'm not going to their church. I don't want their God." But if you can show God, show love consistently, speak that person's love language, isn't that the most important? And isn't that a way of winning them, to God? Not so much the church. I think, again, our spouses is wanting to find a sense of God and love, comfort, security, rest in our bosom. And this is the first God, in a sense.
Well, yeah. I don't think that it's impossible. And like you said, somebody has to take the steps. So like you said, the person who is a little closer to God and obviously, more concerned about where the other person is in terms of spirituality, like you got to start taking some of those steps. And after you've done everything you can to no avail, I really don't see it being successful. At some point, that other person is going to have to meet their spouse somewhere in the middle.
Tiger, I've known him forever. Tiger and I went to Parkland. That's like many moons ago. But Tiger says that should have been established during the dating process, as far as where you stand. If you're someone who's a believer, not a believer, to what degree. Not necessarily something you wait until you get married to start to talk about.
Well, I think a lot of people don't really get to the crux of a lot of their differences while they're dating. And I think people kind of settle a little bit and become complacent, on certain things. Now, if one person in the relationship is like a strong Christian, and they found out that the other person wasn't, and they chose to date anyway,
right.
And that person knew, this person really doesn't have, they don't have any aspirations to get closer to God. They won't go to church with me. They won't pray with me. That person that married that person is kind of like, well, you knew what you got.
Right.
So I see what he's saying. It should have been established and things like that. But if it's something a little bit more subtle, or if they both start out, spiritual Christians, going to church, praying together, whatever the case may be, whatever your religious relationship with God looks like, and then one person starts to fall away, and the other person, remains steadfast. Now we got a different dynamic. You got to reach in and try to pull that person back, and if they want to stay where they are, can you help them? All you can do is pray for them, and it's some time constraints on that, and it's different for everybody.
That's true. I want to speak to when you said you should pray for them. Wait 1 second. Continue in Charlene's question. Yes.
She said yes, but some people opt to still get married even though they have different views.
Well, and so then that's when you call permissible will, because God doesn't force us to do anything, right? So there's the perfect will of God, then there's the permissible will of God. And so permissive says, listen, I give you free choice. That's the beauty of God, right? We have free will and free choice. They popping up, babe.
True. I believe that's where the division comes in.
Right. Free will and free choice. And so if you make the decision to say, I know we're unequally yoked, but I'm going to make the decision to move forward anyway, then God will still bless the union and God will be present. But you're going to have a little more work to do. And you should expect that because you knew that going in.
I agree.
Yeah.
No argument there.
Good point, James. I think it's situational. Life can change a person's position. God's relationship is different for absolutely. That was me and I got divorced. Exactly that. It's true. So you can start off in a relationship, especially when you're dating. Come on, y'all will do anything for each other. Right? So guys will typically go to church with the girl.
Yeah, or she might go to church with him if he's the one that's closer to God at the time.
That's right. And then when life happens and you get into relationships, things change. And so this is, again, when one is weak, the other one needs to be strong. I want to say something recently. I had been praying for God to change your heart. This is, when I say recently, within some years. And I realized that the more I was praying for God to change your heart, He started working on me.
Wow.
That's how I found out about that heifer Jezebel. Whew. She had to get out of my family. I'm praying for the Lord to, like, Lord, you know your son, God, in the name of Jesus. Touch his heart, change his heart, Lord. Lord, you saw how he was treating me. He wasn't right, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Lord, have mercy on him. But show him Jesus. The Lord started showing me my attitude. The way I talk to him, my tone, my touch. I said, you know what? This ain't even right.
Why do you think he did that?
Well, it was important because it goes back to what we're talking about, words of affirmation and doing for your spouse and being committed to relationship and love. When the Lord started dealing with me and I had to tone myself down and check the way I approached you, and the Lord showed me, now this one was like an ouch, which is why He named you Sir James Harvey Carter Jr., because the Lord showed me that I did not honor my husband. Whew. We're going to have to continue this conversation because this is a big one for women. I didn't honor you properly. You have always shown me respect. You have always loved me. You've always cared for me. The one thing that most men require, and again, this is biblical, is honor. And I did not truly, thoroughly honor you. Not in the godly way that I was supposed to. And I didn't know that. It wasn't until last year, 2020 was amazing for me. And Tiffany Diller is my witness. We were on our way to New York, and remember that day we went to the concert, and I was a mess. I didn't know why the Lord was beating me up over you. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, He's your son, but I am your daughter. I'm the anointed one. I'm chosen, Jesus. Like, you are beating, the Lord was beating me up over you. I was like, oh my God. And then I realized, yeah, I'm anointed, but I'm your rib. So if I'm anointed and I'm just a rib,
silly.
I was like, oh my God, I'm for real. It was huge for me. And I realized, like, Lord, listen, I want to spend the rest of my life with this man. I've committed to this and I want to do it properly. And so I know I'm not totally there, but I committed to honoring you. We're going to move on because I get deep about it with you. Man, don't come for my boo. Man.
Don't come for
my boo. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't even know how to respond.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I love you.
I love you too.
I'm just saying, and I'm speaking to women again, and babe, you speak to the men because that's what I am. I'm a wife. But it's like when I started honoring you and recognizing that, you love me even harder. You love me more. And so, women, Jezebel, y'all better find y'all Jezebel and check that heifer. Go make her sit in a corner until you are strong enough to destroy her. That's a generational curse. That's a bloodline thing. And okay, I didn't know we was gonna get all that, but it is Sippin Tea with Stab K, and I am who I am. I'm just saying. Why are you still looking at me like that?
No, I was gonna do the pastor leader and telling the congregation he get ready to close, but it's still 10 more minutes.
You know, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just saying, babe.
Yeah.
Like,
I was trying to make light of it so you didn't get too, too deep in there.
Too deep in what, babe? Don't do that. See how?
No, I'm saying you just said you didn't want to go there, so I was trying to help pull you out.
Okay, so Rasheem said good stuff. Like, hey, boo, they just renewed their wedding vows. It takes work. Tiger said, thank you, Sally. Women will not admit to their shortcomings. We won't. We have a hard time with it. Men do too, but I can't control men. I can only talk for us women as wives. We have got to do better. For real.
Yeah. I lose arguments all the time. Like,
well, you'll never win that now.
So I'm used to coming to grips with my shortcomings and accepting defeat when it comes to having a discussion where we have a difference of opinion. But what I think we do really well is I think we understand like our different perspectives, and even when we get to a point where we're not going to agree, we've been able to say, you know what? I can see your point. I can understand how you think that way. We're not going to sway each other's opinions, and we can move on from this, without being bitter.
But we weren't always that way.
No, of course not.
Because that's recent. Because before it was more about hearing my point, hearing your point in the moment, and it's still kind of like that, but we've learned how to be like, you know what? We're going to end this right now. We'll holler at this in the morning, and that's annoying and frustrating too when you're in the heat and you want to resolve right now. But we've just learned, let it go.
Yeah, hit the pause button.
Hit the pause button.
Because I would say it's a lot healthier to agree.
Yeah.
To table a conversation.
Yeah.
With the intent on picking it up after you've calmed down,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Than to fight it out. And God knows what'll happen after that. Like, so you argue bitter and like, so you're gonna go to bed mad. Are we gonna make matters worse by continuing to discuss it and we're not really having a constructive dialogue, for what it is? So hit the pause button if that's the case. Yeah.
And what about you? How do you all respond to each other, or do you even know your love language? We just discovered through the quiz. Well, rediscovered what our current love languages are because they change, and that's okay. But I really would recommend you getting the book, 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. There's a short survey at the back of it to help you kind of determine what is your love language and what is your spouse's love language. It's really helpful. We are interested because right now our love language is the same. It's words of affirmation. So it's kind of mushy and crazy over here. We're like, I love you. You're so amazing. No, you're so amazing. I love how you made the bed. No, I love how you ironed your pants. And, oh, I love how you shaved your beard. And, oh, I love how you twisted your hair. Like, it's all crazy over here. but it's necessary right now. It's what we both need. So, Tiger said we will open up more, but falls on deaf ears. Women seem to talk at us, not to us. That is true. And the Bible talks about a nagging wife, for real. It's like a sword. And so women, sometimes we need to just shut up.
Just stop.
Stop, shut up, be quiet. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna say anything on that.
Yeah, I don't tell you to shut up.
Never.
When you get to that point where I feel like
you have said just stop.
There's a redundancy of like, babe, could you just
stop? He'll
just
say,
stop.
Could you just stop? And I'm like, oh, I'm beating him up. He's like, and the look on his face is like this. He be like,
like,
could you just stop? I'm like, okay.
You can only bob and weave for so long.
Yeah.
Then you get tired.
You get tired of getting
go to catching them boys. And I'm like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah. And it's not so important that we're right, because I'm right from my perspective and he's right from his perspective. So is that what's most important? Or is it important that each other are heard, even if you don't like what you're hearing? Because he'll tell me some truth sometimes now and I get all teary-eyed because I'm like, that kind of hurt my feelings. But he used to would take it back, because he doesn't want to see me hurt. But now he'll just kind of sit there and I got to work through those tears.
It's more important to have an understanding to me than to have somebody concede to being right. Or wrong or whatever. If you have an understanding, whether or not, like I said before, like if you agree or disagree, that's one thing. But if you're able to have an understanding, like, okay, this is where we sit right now in this particular issue. This is how she feels about it. This is how I feel about it. I can accept that for what it is and still love and respect you and not like, have any malice in my heart because you don't agree with me.
That's the problem.
Or you don't see things my way.
Sometimes we won't. And, I don't think I always see the way you think and you don't always see the way I think. But that's what being individuals, is all about. And just respecting you as a person in that and that being okay. Yeah. We'll take a couple more questions and it's already an hour over. I try to keep sipping tea with Sally K about 45 minutes, but this one got real good. Tune in with us every Sunday while we go through this series. Again, 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. This week was Words of Affirmation. Next Sunday, we will be talking about quality time. I think this past year, 2020, COVID-19 really was an opportunity for couples to spend time and just family, right? To spend quality time. It wasn't about what you spent money on. It wasn't about any of that. It was spending time together. You and I really got close in 2020. Closer. In a different way. It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. Let's take I'm going to have you read because you keep looking at me and you zoning out as you're looking at me and all of this.
No, you okay? So
no, I'm loving it.
I'm not supposed to look at the camera too much because I'm the co-host for.
I'm thinking it's about me
for 5 weeks.
Not looking.
So I turn my focus to you. Yes.
But I keep thinking you zoning out like.
I'm not zoning out.
No, not zoning out in a bad way. Like zoning out, like mesmerized by all this, all this over
all
here.
That chocolate,
all that drip. Okay, so we just did a photo shoot for his birthday. That's why I'm still dolled up. Can I stop and say shout out to Beats by Neek, my little sister Monique. Later on, I'll put all this information in the tag or whatever. But she did the thing. Y'all know I never wear stuff like this. I love it though. I may do it every week. Okay, that was a little commercial. Beat by Neek commercial. Yeah, she did that. Thank you, Monique. I love you. Mwah. The photo shoot was Rebecca Auburn Photography. Amazing. I cannot wait to see him. Just know that it was nice. Okay.
And I got suckered into participating in this photo shoot. And she know I don't like sitting in front of no cameras. I don't like taking pictures.
Ladies, I made an interest in trust. We'll talk private. Okay, go back. We're gonna take a couple more questions. Okay. Let me go. Let's see. That was me. I got divorced. Exactly. Prayer can expose self. Tiger, it did. It really did. Love the transparency. I mean, what's the point of getting on here if we're not going to keep it real? We've been through life enough, and we're excited to serve you all by being open and honest. One of the things I was frustrated about coming up in our marriage was I felt like people didn't tell us the truth. People didn't tell the truth about relationships and what you go through and how to survive and come out on the other side loving each other. That we didn't see. And so as we went through our trials, I would say to myself, Lord, I know this is for somebody else. And so I would actually pray for God to teach me to how to go through the struggles in my marriage so that I would be appropriate when I share with other wives and future wives on how to be. So I prayed my way through our journey, and I continue to.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like, too, I think people do the exact opposite, some people, of what they should do when they give you advice on your relationship, especially if they've had experiences and they had failed relationships. So they don't talk to you about what you need to do to get through it or get better. They tell you what you need to do to withdraw and separate, how to distance yourself, from that person. You don't get that encouragement, you don't get that support. Okay, this is what happened to me. So then being transparent and they basically open themselves up to you about the pitfalls and the challenges they faced and why their relationship failed. Instead, give me that game.
Right.
Tell me how you could have avoided it. Tell me what can I do to avoid going through what you suffered.
That's right.
Because otherwise it's not a testimony.
That's right.
It's misery and joy and company.
But that goes back to though being honest, like really seeing yourself. It takes work to allow God to show you yourself. I guarantee you, everybody on this live, everybody who watches this, everyone who sees this, who are having concerns in their relationship, if they would pray to the Lord to show them, how do I want to say that? Ask God to show them themselves, they would be surprised at the result. And then ask God to give them the strength to react on what he shows them. It's going to be contrary to what you thought you would do or what you thought it would look like. Trust me. But the result is so amazing. It really is.
I agree.
Okay, let's go ahead and read this. James did that. I respond. We've been working on that. I don't know what part. Just read through them. Starting with, we've been working on that. Did you just really pull away from me?
You don't have to touch my phone. I can read it.
You know what?
Hey, y'all, these conversations are, this is Roshima. Hey, y'all, these conversations are a must. Thank you for helping marriages. There's also a free survey online by Gary Chapman.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's good to know. Thank you.
And then Charlene said earlier, in my marriage, I would say whatever came out of my mouth. I ate, so now I stop before I say the wrong thing, and I don't say anything I don't mean. That's wise.
That's good. That's real wise. That's real wise. That's good. You did great. Thank you.
Yeah, and Monique says, we've been learning that marriage is a partnership, not a competition. That's good.
Who said that?
Monique. And the idea that one may win an argument means the other loses. There should be no winners or losers in the partnership. This idea has helped a ton. And that's definitely some good stuff right there.
Yes. Oh, that's Nikki. You said what? Monique. Samaj, old lady, that's Nikki.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, Sean.
Got you.
Yes. Got to keep it real. Yes. Well, you know what? But I want, see, I'm West Side, so I understand what my auntie is saying. But Aunt Charlene, I had it wrong on what keeping it real when it meant to my husband. Because keeping it real means something different in situations. And so now keeping it real to me, again, it means keeping it real to my commitment to honor James, to love him, and to be mindful of his heart, to be mindful that he is tender. Even though he's so strong and he's a provider and all these things, he is tender. He's a tender heart. And as women, as strong women, we forget that. And so that's been my challenge to remember, I'm loud and I'm pretty aggressive anyway. And so now I have to catch myself instead of like, baby, why didn't you? I go, it sounds fake. Like if you know me, you'll think I'm being fake, but I'm being trained is what's happening. So you will hear me now. Baby, do you mind? Baby, is it okay if? Baby. And so if someone knew me and heard me, they would be like, oh my gosh, she sounds so fake. Why is she? I am keeping it real because I'm learning. I'm learning to make that a natural flow for me. I'm learning to make the way I speak to you naturally soft, naturally tender. So I want to say thank you for allowing me to learn. I know I sound a hot mess sometimes, but I'm learning. So
it don't sound a hot mess all the time.
Not all the time.
So sometimes it does sound like
condescending.
No, not condescending, but like something out of like a movie or a TV show. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like you're in character.
I'm practicing. I'm learning.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it doesn't sound authentic yet, but anything that before it becomes a part of my character is something I have to do continually. So I'm working on it. Babe, this has been an amazing experience. Another episode of Sippin' Tea with Sally K, and having my wonderful husband, Sir James Ivory Carter Jr., join me for this series, The 5 Love Languages. As
full government name.
Well, I added the Sir. Well, just saying. Sir James Ivory. But it's something about the Sir James Ivory Carter Jr. It's just like Sir James Ivory Carter Jr. Like, put some respect on that. Sir James, hey! Put some respect on it. Join us every week for the rest of this series. I mean, this has already been so fun, and you guys are helping with our own marriage and relationship, because we have to be authentic. We have to take the time to study and talk these things through. We have to take the time. Look who gonna join at the end of the show. Little Miss Nina. Listen, Roshima said, great job. Love the Carters. The Carters love the Dixons. You know that. We love you. Sean, I miss you. We need to talk. RJ, I love you. She said, yes, tender and soft. Hey, sis. Hey, bro. We love you. And it's true. Ladies, I'm gonna leave you with a little bit. Get this book. Prepare for next week. Quality time. We also have, I'll tell you, we bought the workbook, but we've not done the workbook. You don't have to get the workbook. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. If you feel you want to get the workbook.
If you would like to get the notebook,
that's how I should say it.
It's available for you.
Okay, that's better. I'm just, listen. Okay, fine. I'll stop there. So. Terrence said, happy birthday, bro.
Hey, thanks. Boy. Appreciate it, man.
You gotta give a okay. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Nina. Okay. Set your notifications for next week. Every Sunday, 7 p.m. Sippin' Tea with Sally K. Here's what you do. This week, order your book from Amazon. It's so quick, easy. It's a quick and easy read. Every married couple, every person really should read this book, because it's about relationship. It's about people. Mm-hmm.
And you'll learn about yourself.
You'll learn about yourself.
Either way, so it's a win-win.
I love tea. I love sipping. So get your special cup. Fill it with whatever you want to fill it with. It's up to you. Right? Join us next week. Listen, have your book. Have your journal. Sir James already established he is not going to have a journal, but he will have a notebook.
I take notes.
You take notes. Y'all know I have an ink pen. A pencil, because I don't like permanent. I like to erase. And I have a marker. These are my little tools. You know, you do you. 5 love languages. Next week, join us. Ladies, babe, you need to give a little tip to the men. And I'm going to give a tip to the women. How about that?
Well, just like an impromptu tip?
Yeah, you could do this.
Okay, on the spot?
On the spot.
Off the cuff.
You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
No, I'll go first.
Why are you going to go first? You think I'm going to take a long time?
I do not.
Why are you going first?
You can go first.
No, you can't.
Loose?
I can be loose. I just wanted to know why you wanted me to go first. That's all.
No, it was just, no order. And
Okay.
if you had something, since you brought it up, if you actually had something that you wanted to give the ladies, go ahead. I'm still trying to think about what I want to give the men.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair. So I will say a little something to women, then you can to men, then I'll pray and we'll end. Okay. All right. So I just want to say to my married ladies out there, let's humble ourselves a little bit. That's what I'll leave today on. It's always about us. We're women. Like, come on. Maybe we don't think our men is paying us attention, or we are the center of their world, or they are considering us, but they are. And if you want a different result, you have to change what you're doing. Change you. My number one thing to do, my number one thing or number one advice would be to pray. And I know people say that all the time, but it's true. If you are a believer, you cannot trust God with outside things. You can't trust God with work, with the world. We want to be intercessors, COVID-19, all this stuff. But we don't cover our first head, which is in our home. Some of us don't have a godly man who's leading us. Well, you are called to intercede even in that. Some of us may have a spouse and we consider ourselves unequally yoked with, where you are the one with the anointing. You are the rib. So you are that missing link. So don't get frustrated with him when he doesn't have what you are looking for. Sometimes what you're looking for is within you. So that's why God will kind of mold you and transform you so that you can be what you need to be for yourself and show him what it is you're needing him to be for you and for himself. So for this week, ladies, let's try to kind of give ourselves a challenge. Let's pray for our spouses. Let's pray for our spouses, right? Not like telling on them like I used to do. Let's pray. I used to tell on you. I still tell on you. But pray to lift our spouses up this week. Sit down and think about, why are they your spouse? Why are you married to them? Why did you make the commitment to them? Think on those things. Think on what it is about your spouse that you love. What do they do for you? Create your own list. I'm going to go back again. Cover your spouse this week. Pray for them. Not in a way of telling on them, but building them up. As you begin to pray for them and talk to God and think about the goodness of your spouse, I promise you your heart will be changed. Your heart will be turned differently toward them. And you will eventually, maybe not this week, but eventually you will see a change in them. It will take some time first for God to kind of seal the deal in you before you'll start to see the change in them. Because you want the change to be permanent, not just a temporary fix. So let's work on us, ladies, this week. Let's cover our husbands, cover our spouses in prayer this week. Lift them up. And
okay.
that's our challenge.
All right. So to the fellas, I would just encourage you to spend a little time and learn how to listen to your wife. You know what that means?
It's your floor.
So I just, from personal experience and then hearing other married men talk, I know that it's something that we do. Like when our women speak to us, we are not the best communicators naturally. As children, we're trained to, conditioned and socialized to do things. We go out and we roughhouse and we play, we play hard, we run, and we're not doing a whole lot of like dialogue. Because women learn how to talk, hold conversations, listen, speak, all of this at a very young age, playing house and doing all these things. We never really learned how to listen. We never really learned how to listen. And now we're in a critical situation in a relationship where listening is something that we need to be doing actively, listening. Like, I've missed so many things, that my wife has said in the conversation. Now she can get a little long-winded, and I get lost sometimes.
You're supposed to be being nice. This is words of affirmation.
It's supposed to be funny too. But anyway, but not take away from the original point. Like I practice listening to her, and sometimes, she'll let me know when I miss something, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see, And also, while you're listening, don't think about going to fix whatever it is she's talking about. Don't try to fix it right. Hear her out, listen to what she's saying, and then figure out what she needs from you before you decide that you're going to save her from this and go out and do something and change the world. Listen to your wife, try to understand where she's coming from, see what it is that she needs, and then move. And that's it.
Well, you heard it. That was tea to sip. That's for sure. All right. That was awesome. We love you all, and hopefully you gained a little something. I know we did. Again, grab your books. 5 love languages. We're not being paid to do this either. I mean, it's just something we really believe in. So
Gary Chapman, cut the check. Cut the check, Gary Chapman.
All right. See you all next week when you tune in live at 7 o'clock. We're just going to stick to Facebook because it seemed to work until we can get a producer. Let me say this, and I'm not ashamed. We are looking to hire a media specialist because we're busy. I don't have time for this. So we're looking to hire a media specialist that can really help manage Sally K. Carter Network. Within Sally K. Carter Network, which is on YouTube, it will be our shows. It will be Sippin' Tea with Sally K. It will be some of the things that James is going to be doing. He'll be a special guest sometimes on some of his things that he'll be talking about, and just so many more conversations we want to bring to you. So,
are you talking about for the rest of this series? Or are you talking about a different show?
No. I'm looking. We are.
See, she didn't think I caught that.
Huh,
we have not discussed any additional shows.
Tune in next week when we continue to talk about the 5 love languages. When we talk about quality time.
Active listening. I caught it.
You're gonna start active listening now. Get your book. 5 love languages. See you next week. Quality time. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
He's the best co-host.